This is Beans and me, Tyler, from Haste Computer Repair. To celebrate 5K subs, I thought I'd give a little shop tour just to show off what a computer repair shop might look like and some of the realities of doing it outside of your home. So back to my cat. This is my sole employee. It looks like he's doing some inventory in the overstocked and overstuffed / tech hoarder room. So we'll leave Beans to his work and I'll show off the main center of operations. That is a Norin that you see, a Japanese style curtain. I have another one over here that belonged to my grandfather. I'm a Japanese Canadian living way up in the north, and I think it's a really Canadian thing to show off some culture. I'm relying on sunlight to show off the room, so you'll have to excuse the poor lighting. Otherwise, I have this ceiling light that just gives everything a kind of yellowish glow. If you're looking around this shop and initially thinking it looks a little bit chaotic, well, you're not wrong, but I also want to point out that I'm the sole practitioner who also works a day job. I've got to take care of my cat. And amongst other life things, it just takes a lot of time and effort to keep things tidy. I do try to keep my main desk tidy so I don't lose my mind entirely. Right now, as you can see, I'm putting together a new PC. So a little bit of desk real estate is taken up, but that's perfectly normal. So I've got three 1440p monitors set up. One being a Lenovo ThinkVision, the other an Asus TUF Gaming VG2 7AQ monitor, and the third by this weird brand called MBest. A monitor that I picked up off a friend for a good deal. Also this custom mouse pad that I had made. I know it's upside down, but I'm just trying to round out the wear and tear. So I get a lot of daily work done here, keeping track of records, buying and selling, and just general use and entertainment. Vertical monitor is good for things like spreadsheets, and the main monitor being the Asus, just for general use and also for gaming. The third monitor over here is usually occupied by a YouTube video or something just to play in the background while I do some work. I'm also an avid skateboarder, so it's not uncommon for me to have something like that on. I guess shout out to Dadboard, who just happens to be playing right now. And underneath my desk is my Workstation PC, all built into this Cooler Master half PC case. I know the cable management is looking pretty rough, something I'd like to work on, but honestly, I do a lot of modifications and I am switching out cables pretty often, so the most I do is keep things labeled so they don't get caught up in the spaghetti mess. I definitely want to come up with a more elegant solution, just waiting for some extra time. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with this Cooler Master case, but it doesn't leave a lot for cable management. I just mainly have things tied up so they can avoid system fans and provide some cool airflow. It's built onto this Asus Prime X670 motherboard with a Ryzen 9 7900X CPU. And that's a Thermalright CPU cooler that I recently installed because I wanted to really test it out considering how many times I've installed it into my many budget PC cases. That's the EVGA GeForce RTX 3090 graphics card, Corsair RM850X 850 watt power supply. My main boot drive is a Samsung 980 Pro 1TB NVMe Gen 4 SSD, and I have another Samsung 860 EVO 2.5-inch SSD to hold my games. Outside of that, I have 4 hard drives set up. One of the reasons I keep using this case is because I can fit this 4-bay hard drive enclosure in, and I can hot swap and back up with ease. So I have not one, but 2 AV carts, and these are really handy because they have power bars built in, and also a lot of space to put things like Bean's cat bed. This is where I film a lot of my videos. Right now it has the ThinkStation P510 that I just finished working on, a customer's laptop, and a power supply, and an RTX 3060 that's going into this PC over here. So over here on this AV cart, you can see all those cables over here. They make up different display cables, Ethernet cables, and USB cables for mouse and keyboard. And I have another 1440p LG monitor that I use for all my testing. For gameplay specifically, I have this long StarTech HDMI cable hooked up to my Workstation PC, and I use an Elgato 4K 60 Pro PCIe card. So usually I'll be sitting here recording gameplay or video rendering tests in DaVinci Resolve and stuff like that. Down here, there could be customer PCs, PCs waiting to go out, or PCs waiting to be worked on. Everything is usually marked off just so I don't forget what is going on with it. Over here is a Mastercraft toolbox that I traded for a laptop. It's really handy for storage. I have some SATA cables in there, old graphics cards and CPUs. Usually here is occupied with solid state drives and various other things like touchpads. And of course, what's a toolbox without a lot of stickers? And I've got to represent some LTT stickers because I also live in British Columbia, Canada, just 8 hours north of where they operate. As I'm sure any tech enthusiast or computer shop owner can relate, I have an absurd amount of graphics card boxes and product boxes. This isn't all of it, and honestly, if you see something that you want, hit me up in a comment and maybe we can ship it out to you. This is a good example of a shelf that's waiting to be cleaned up. And I have another workbench set up in this closet here. I have this Dell 1920 by 1200 monitor with all the display cables that I could possibly need. So usually if I'm working with something older that, for example, only has a VGA connection, I'll probably take it over here. Maybe I should have set up these LED lights that I purchased a little while ago. They do work really well, and it probably would have made the tour look a little bit better, but hey, I thought I may as well keep things raw and realistic for how operations go on here. To help manage some of the clutter, I have a storage shelf here right in the hallway with a lot of things like case fans and power supplies and just some miscellaneous things that are waiting to be built. And over here I have an entire room dedicated to extra storage for PC parts. I see my one employee sleeping on the job. I guess you just can't get good help these days. So some stuff is just waiting to be recycled, or some stuff I'm clinging onto, like this old server PC case from the late 90s. Over here in this closet, we have a lot of power adapters for various laptops and other things like network cables, keyboards, and a bunch of these phones that I should probably do something with. There's also some cool artifacts like this old Gigabyte box for a GeForce 210 graphics card, and this Radeon HD 6450 box that is very nostalgic with the 3D character on front. So I actually do like to keep things rather organized, but again, I'm a single guy. I work a day job and I've got a lot of orders coming in and out. It's a work in progress to keep things tidy, and just so I don't overwhelm myself, I just find little pockets of time throughout the week to tidy up. So this brings me to the giveaway portion of the video. So first up, I have this 512GB KingFast SSD. I bought a bunch of these SSDs at one point a few years ago, and I eventually stopped using them. And if it's a brand you haven't heard of, I'm not too surprised. Online reviews might vary, but I found that they worked alright, and I only had maybe 1 or 2 out of 90 or 100 fail. Either way, if that's something that you could use, shoot me an email and let me know what you're going to use it for. Next up, I have this keyboard. It's not a full-on mechanical keyboard, though it does kind of have that feel. I used it for a little while, but I eventually switched up to this random brand that I purchased off Amazon. And actually, now that I say that out loud, it's not a random brand. I believe they also make monitors. And this keyboard is actually really nice. I'm actually not too sure what brand this is. Initially, I thought it was Cougar. I just picked this up at a local Valley Village, and it did the trick for a little while. There is an escape key missing, so you'll have to put something there to use it. And one cool feature is with the click of a button, you have a little bit of RGB. Those two items are pretty small, so just hit me up with an email and I'll ship them out at my expense. That's worldwide shipping, so just let me know where you're from and we'll work out the details. Also, if you have a use for DDR2 RAM, hit me up in the comments and I will give you whatever I have. I mean, not everything, because then I wouldn't be a tech hoarder, but if you need a few 1GB or 2GB sticks, hit me up. Well, Beans is still napping, so I think I'll just get back to work. Maybe if more than 50 people watch this video, we can gain some momentum and get Linus Tech Tips to come help me organize my space. It's only an 8-hour drive.